There has been. We were discussing earlier that there is some opposition to or some criticism within the gay community of this March on Washington.
Oh, it's just a couple of naysayers out there. I mean, anytime you do anything that's really bold and you take action and you just assert yourself as an individual, or in the case of the March on Washington, you know, we just got tired of listening to Obama's rhetoric and speeches with no action.
So
we got tired of.
Or think that you're moving too fast.
Well, wait, we're going to do something, and you know, we don't have to have a meeting to decide what color we're going to vote on. We have the internet. We've watched MoveOn.org do this. We certainly watched Obama do this. It isn't like 2000 or the earlier marches. It doesn't really take that kind of, you know, infrastructure as people want to, you know, call. No, it just takes people showing up.
Get out there.
Yeah, as I say, this is really stupid simple. This is about get on the bus with your, you know, your walking boots and your talking points. And
that's really seen by some folks as anti-Obama or anti-Democratic Party.
I suppose some may interpret it that way. I don't.
Because you're criticizing what they're doing.
Well, I think we have to be critical of the Democrats.
Well, we've discussed that. Many people have called the show in. And we've had many folks critical of Obama from the left, right?
Sure.
Numerous people on the show. At the same time, others have called up and said, you know, it's horrendous that we have to get behind this guy, that he represents the best hope that we have.
Well, I do believe that. I mean, he's certainly 1,000 times better than Bush. And you know, I believe in my heart that he could be as important to our civil rights and to the evolution of equality and justice in America as Johnson was, or even Truman when he desegregated the Army. And Johnson was pivotal. I mean, a Southerner, you know, came and made civil rights. I mean, maybe it will take, you know, our first African-American president to really help us as LGBT people make the case that we are equal as well. So we'll see. We don't know yet.
We are here live on the air. Our phone number is 212-757-1538. Our guest, Gilbert Baker, the Betsy Ross, among other things, the Betsy Ross of the gay message.
Yes, here they are.
We have the flags, you know, Wisconsin. There's gay Wisconsin,
Wyoming.
Gay Right, all of them. And we're at the end of I could tell when we get to the W's, Vermont, Wisconsin, Wyoming. But we'll take your calls. Give us a call, 212-757-1538, and turn your TV down when you call so you hear what we're talking about.
And put the flags back up.
Yeah, I'll put the flags back up. All right, Gilbert.
Go.
Okay, what the reaction? We had a show. I played it again just recently. What about the movie Milk? Has that had any effect or impact?
I'm sorry. I wanted to ask a question before we move to Milk. So, are we retiring the worst president ever banner?
No, we're not.
Okay.
Stay tuned.
That was the banner you had for Bush.
For a lot
of
things,
nice one. Worst president ever. Big. We'll see. I don't know. I mean, Obama, I don't think is going to be the worst president ever, but who knows? It's early on. Things can change. You know, who knows?
Right. I thought maybe you'd do a best president ever.
No, I keep them like old evening gowns. You never know. You know, it'll all come back someday.
Well,
so back to Milk. I'm sorry.
Because I know you were involved in the film Milk, and you were a friend of Harvey Milk.
Very much.
You're so involved in the film. And any fallout from that? Any response?
Sure, I think it helped. I think it helped educate a whole generation of people that did not live then and didn't really understand the history of Harvey Milk. It was like this name you would hear, but people really never had any understanding of who he was and
was
and
it
what
as
his life
successful
was
as you
like.
wanted it to be?
I thought it was very successful. I mean, given the
I thought it
genre.
also brought in people that didn't really understand about sort of a historical background to the gay movement. You know, that
think
set
so.
it in context for a lot of people that just thought, what is going on?
Right, I think it did help educate a lot of people about, you know, the birth of our movement, why it was important that people came out, and you know,
Sean
that
Penn was
Stonewall, of course.
unbelievable.
And you know, it's successful. You know, a
Great.
couple Academy Awards, and it made some
Can't
money.
beat that.
And let me I don't want to go too far afield, but to me, I think it's, you know, issues of women's issues and sexism and even the abortion issue are all related. To me, it's all, even though they're separated in many ways, they're very much the things that unite these different issues: the gay lesbian rights issue, the abortion issue, you know, the idea of freedom of choice, the horrible assassination of the doctor in Kansas just a few weeks ago, and the things that gay people face every day, you know, in many places, maybe not in New York every day, but even in parts of New York. You know, and I think what unites all these movements together, all these different things together, are the opposition, because it's pretty much the same folks. I mean, the extreme religious, evangelical.
Oh, you mean that are against these
that are
things?
against these things, right?
Okay.
It unites,
I'm
right?
catching on.
Well, that's true. I mean, yeah, I mean, that's really, I think, in the U.S. a case of racism. Quite frankly, it all stems from
The same folks who are saying
you know,
that
you're not
Obama-
white and you're the devil.
Yeah.
And,
The same
you know,
folks who are saying Obama's not a U.S. citizen.
Oh, yeah.
Or who said that it was
But-
wrong to mention
but-
Gates, Professor Gates.
Sure, but there are always going to be those hate people out there. But the interesting thing that you mentioned, and what I think that we have to look at, is the way that the women's movement, the pro-choice movement, the gay movement, all are connected by a single thing. All of them are predicated on the idea that the individual is more important than the state, that my body, my life is my business. I mean, not to be libertarian, I don't go there, but they're all predicated on that there's a certain fundamental sacred right to be an individual, to express
right
yourself,
of choice.
right, to express
It
your
is a choice
sexuality,
issue, yeah.
to love who you want, to choose if you're the abortion issue, and
Yeah.
to be equal. I mean, that's the big long struggle for us, and we're not equal. That's the sad part, is that we really are
So
not
it's
equal.
still today.
Yeah, I mean, we're
right.
fighting for equality in the U.S., and when I'm talking about equality for gay people, I'm thinking about I want to get married. But the reality is, for most gay people in the world, they
I'd
just
like
want to
to
not be
live.
criminals.
Right, I'd like
they
to
just want to
live.
not go to jail.
Get
You
beat up, get
right,
killed,
exactly.
right.
So the equality thing that we talk about in the U.S. is really important, because we're the beacon for freedom and for democracy, and it's really imperative on the part of LGBT people to fight for equality. This is never going to be handed to us. It has never been handed to anybody, and that's what I worry most about, is that
It's
gay
complacency.
and that we have never really fought a good fight, that we have, we've
That are coming
lobbied,
down the
well,
line.
we've lobbied and we've played the political game and we've bought influence in the Democratic and even the Republican Party, but we have not suffered the violence that the black community did. I mean, we certainly suffer violence. We haven't paid the same dues, and that's a problem. People, I think, that have paid those dues understand and cherish more the value and the importance of their liberty. And if it's just something that's a commodity, or something that you can just dial up on the internet and you're in the community, quote unquote, it doesn't have the same meaning, and it doesn't have the same strength. And that's what I worry about, is our enemies are very strong, they're very organized. I mean, right now what's going on,
Well, they're
running
running
around
extremes.
well, right now,
Shoot
what's
people
going
down.
on, they're running around. I mean, obviously, we've got situations where there's violence, but now more worrisome are these Congress is in recess, and now there are town halls going on all around the country, and what's going on right now is a very organized campaign of intimidation, and the Yahoo hooligans show up, at the town hall on health care or something like that, let alone even to gay rights. And their whole point is just their whole point is to go there to interrupt, to stop any kind of democratic debate or democratic, forum, so that the only view that's heard is the view of the hoodlum hooligan, and it's right out of Goebbels. I mean, they should get the brown shirts, because that's where they're at.
Why are you
And
telling
that's
me
very
you've
worrisome.
seen Gilbert Baker? You're telling me you have seen the president's birth certificate?
I've seen several versions of that, but
Voting
well,
birth certificates.
but that whole idea of organized hate is very worrisome, and just with Obama's election has become more something that I study history. I love flags, and we can't look at flags and not think that they have a dark side to them. I mean, they're beautiful and powerful, and they're evocative, and they help say liberation and send our political message. But there's also a very dark history of flags, of war, of nationalism, and I study, and particularly am fascinated by the Nazis and the whole way that they used pageantry and symbolism and mythology
Absolutely.
and hate to create a kind of religion where, and that's sort of, I feel like that's sort of going on now. It's sort of like this racist thing going on, Obama can't be president, and, he's a socialist, and then obviously there's a lot of hate on gay people and women, and there's just this sort of terrible, horrible cancer growing on our democracy that is